Welcome to Takedown DFS. We got a big card here. We got Poirier versus Mcgregor 3 leading things off, and I can't wait for that fight. Got my coffee, we got this, and we're ready to go. We got a lot of fights here, so let's get into it. I'm happy that salaries came out for FanDuel earlier this week, so I could record this earlier, get this to you guys a few days before. So let's get into these fights. And also, later on in this video, I will be predicting exactly who wins in the main event and how they win. So stay tuned for that. Let's start off with the first prelim, though. We got Hugh Zhang versus Amadovsky. Amadovsky comes in as a minus 154 favorite to Hugh Zhang at plus 126. And we don't have the go the distance prop line in this. It might be too early in the week, so we don't have the fight to end in a finish line yet. So just gonna have to go with that. But the thing that's crazy about this is minus 154 to plus 126, and Amadovsky comes in at an $18 price tag. Hugh Zhang comes in at an $11 price tag. That's a pretty big discrepancy for such a close fight. So Hugh has a weird record. I had to do some deep research on this guy. He has a weird record. He's 3-2, and he last fought in 2018. And he went from heavyweight all the way down to where they're fighting now at like middleweight. So it's like he's a weird fighter, weird body type. But yeah, so this is his first fight at middleweight. So we'll see how that comes. I don't know how to judge that, but. And also, the thing with Hugh Zhang that's going to be hampering him in this fight is because of visa issues, his team actually won't be with him. So he's going to be without his coaching staff. So that's not very good if it's your first fight at middleweight and all that. But Allen is the type of guy that just lets his hand fly, flurry, and he's a KO or get KO'd kind of guy. So he'll just throw a flurry and hope it hits. And if it doesn't hit, he might be the one getting hit. So in that type of fight, with a $7 difference in price tag, with everything going against Zhang was at heavyweight at one point. So he should have power in his hands at this weight class. So I think he has a chance to knock him out. So I'm going to take a flyer on the $11 price tag guy, because on this card, I'm going to be looking at a lot of the underdogs because I want to pay up for the top guys in the slate. Like, you're going to want Sean O'Malley, but we're going to get into that later. You're going to want one of Poirier or McGregor. So you're going to need some cheap guys to fill in with these guys. So give me a flyer on Hugh Zhang, but I can see Amadovsky getting a knockout in this fight too. So if you want to take a flyer on either guy, I'm going to be on the underdog because that fits my lineup better. So let's go on to the next fight. We got Zhalgas Zhumagulov at minus 385 against Jerome Rivera at plus 290. Zhalgas Zhumagulov is $22 and Jerome Rivera is $8, the cheapest on the slate. One of the cheapest. I think Moutinho is also $8, but there's no to go the distance prop on this one as well. But Zhalgas at a minus 385. Let's go into him first. He's disappointed so far in the UFC. They thought he was going to be a lot better, and he hasn't shown that yet so far. But he has questionable power. That's the thing with him, is he hasn't shown that he could actually put guys down yet, Zhalgas. And Zhalgas doesn't have the best cardio. So Rivera, I know, has great cardio. So this is a clash of styles, and you definitely do not want to wrestle with Rivera. So if he doesn't have the power, and he's and Jerome Rivera is not going to be afraid of his power, does he just keep going in and trying to get this to the mat where he has the advantage? And if he gets on top of him early in a round, can he finish him? I think he can. So I'm going to not take Zhalgas Zhumagulov in this fight, which could hamper me because of the FanDuel scoring. As you know, takedown defense gets you a lot of points. So I think Jerome Rivera could be shooting for the takedowns a lot. He can get a bunch of takedowns, and if he ends up putting Jerome Rivera down, which is very possible, he could have a very high score. But I'm going to take the risk that he doesn't. I'm going to take the risk that Jerome Rivera does enough to make this a cheaper fight, to where Jerome Rivera might be a flyer at the cheap $8 price tag. He's going to be a flyer in some of mine. But Zhalgas Zhumagulov, I'm not going to spend $22 for that, even if he's a minus 385 favorite, which I think the line is kind of off in my opinion. But Zhalgas Zhumagulov should win, but I think Jerome Rivera is going to be worth the score a little bit more. On to the next fight. Omari Akhmedov versus Brad Tavares. This is another one. Minus 176 to plus 142. And $20 and $10 price tag. $10 difference and only a minus 176 and plus 142 line. That's crazy. I don't know what's going on with this card and the FanDuel pricing. But Akhmedov is a guy that strikes to clinch and clinches to take down. That's what he goes. He strikes his way into the clinch, clinches to take down. That's the type of fighter he is. Tavares is a hard guy to take down, though. And he's a hard guy to keep down. He's of this whole career, he's been that type of guy where it's hard to get him to the ground. But Akhmedov is definitely going to try. So Tavares could get rack up takedown defenses just like the last fight that I was talking about. But can Akhmedov finish Tavares? Because Tavares will be fresh in the third round. That's the thing. Akhmedov is a guy that tires out, and Tavares doesn't. So if Tavares wins one of the first two rounds, he could probably coast out the third round, which is scary for if you're on the Omari Akhmedov side, to where Akhmedov is the cheap guy that you're gonna want a flyer with some of these cheap guys, but Omari Akhmedov needs to finish him. That's my question: is can he finish Tavares? Because if he finishes him, great score. If he doesn't, I think he gets a bad score, because Tavares will win out and eke out a decision. So I'm not going to pay the price for Tavares. I don't think I'm going to be going up there with a lot of these bigger names on the card. And Tavares is a decision king. Like, he just gets decision after decision after decision. So it should be another decision here. I'm going to take Tavares to win one of the first two rounds, then eke out a boring third round to where he just lays on him or jab and move to win the fight. So give me Tavares here, but Akhmedov could be a flyer. I need some coffee to get through all these fights. All right. We got Jennifer Maia at -194 versus Jessica Ai at +156. $20 and $9 fighter. Crazy difference. No to go the distance odds, but Maia should do a lot of her damage on the ground. That's the type of fighter she is. She's going to take her down and just beat her up on the ground. Ai is very persistent. That's usually hampers her. I'm not saying that as a compliment in this regard, because she tries to strike her way to the clinch over and over and over again and just does it and just keeps doing it. She strikes her way into the clinch, doesn't work, does it again, strikes into the clinch, doesn't work, and she just keeps going over and over again. She just has no reason to change. So I think I needs to show something different in this fight to be able to have a chance, because I think Jennifer Maia should be able to control her and just lay on top of her. But Maia definitely has more of a complete game. So that's where I'm scared that Ai is not going to show anything different and Maia is just going to dominate her. But I don't know if that's going to score too well, because she would need to either throw a lot of significant strikes, but if you're laying on someone, you could eke out 2 or 3 minutes with barely any fantasy scoring. So I think Maia gets the win here. But as we've seen in women's fights that typically go to the decision, the underdog does tend to score a little bit. So at $9, if you need a $9 fighter, Ai has a chance to win. I'm not saying that she's gonna, but she also has the thing to pay off if you want 3 or 4 of those top big guys. So I think this should be a decision. I think Maia is gonna be able to control her for most of the fight, but can Ai do enough in that little portion to be able to sway the judges? I don't think she can, but I'm going to take Maia by decision here. But you can take a flyer on the cheap one. I'm probably not going to have any Maia. So on to the prelims. We've got Trevin Giles, $15 fighter, versus Driscoe Duplessis, another $15 fighter. Toss-up fight we have here. -122 for Driscoe Duplessis and +100 even line for Trevin Giles. So there's slight lean on Duplessis, but no to go the distance props in this one as well. I think the rest of the way we have to go to the distance props. But Driscoe does not do well under pressure. And if you watch Trevin Giles' last fight, he was a pressuring fighter. So that's what I'm first looking at. People can get inside on Driscoe, and he doesn't like that. That's what Driscus. People can get inside on him, and he doesn't like that at all. So when you get in there and get in his face, he gets a little flustered. So I think that's going to be Giles' game plan. Duplessis, he has a lot of quality fights on his record. He's beaten a lot of tough guys, and that's where I know that he has the ability to stand with a guy like Trevin Giles, who isn't on that level. So this is a toss-up fight. Dricus creates space. Giles closes in on that space. So this is something where if Giles is able to get in on him, but Dricus should be able to know that that's his game plan coming in and be able to have a game plan for that. But Giles, when throwing flurries, can get in on a guy, so he'll throw a big combination of a bunch of flurries, and that's how he'll get in. But can he get hit on that? Yes. So this is a toss-up fight. I'm going to lean Giles being able to get in on him. I think he can. I think this is a fight where he's going to be able to fluster him enough to win a decision here. Because these are two tough guys. I don't think they go down. But, yeah, I'm going to lean Trevin Giles to get in on Duplessis. But definitely a toss-up fight. If you're making 100 lineups, I would go 60-40 on the Giles way. But I definitely wouldn't have 100% Giles because this is definitely the definition of a toss-up fight in all regards. So let's move on to the next fight. Oh, got the soccer game on in the background, just watching a little bit. We got Ilya Topuria at minus 260 versus Ryan Hall at plus 205. $22 to $9. That's a big difference. And this to go the distance is plus 132. So they believe that it will not. They believe that it will not go the distance and it will end in a finish. So that's I'm going to tell you why because of these type of fighters. But we got Ryan Hall, who is a wizard of jiu-jitsu. His nickname is literally the Wizard. He throws so many kicks, and he literally takes legs with them. He had a submission win in like 3 seconds last time where he took the guy's knee and like snapped it. This guy is insane on the ground. So it's definitely a clash of styles. Ryan Hall is very good at submission and leg kicks, which I like that. If I want my underdog, if I'm looking at an underdog, I want him to have leg kicks. I want him to have a way to finish. That's what I'm looking at. Great defensive grappler and wrestler is Topuria, though. So he's going to be very... he's a very good wrestler, so when it's going to be definitely hard for Hall to put him in those positions because he is very, very good at defensive grappling and wrestling, and that's why I think he has the minus 260 tag because they don't think that Hall is going to have the strength to get in on him like that. But Topuria is a top prospect. The UFC like this kid. They think that he's going to be a big star soon, fighting against the top guys. And Topuria needs to watch out for the takedowns, though. So I think he could get a couple takedown defenses if he gets the win here, which they say he should. And Topuria, should win this fight. I'm going to say should win this fight. If they fought 10 times, I think he wins 7 of them. But I think the other 3, Ryan Hall takes his leg with him. And I think he submits him. So I'm going to take a flyer on Ryan Hall at the $9 price tag, but... At the same time, if you want another $22 guy, I don't know if he's going to be above Sean O'Malley for me or anyone else. I don't think he will. But I think Ilya Topuria gets to finish. It's just, can you fit a lineup with him? I think you can, but at the same point, if Ryan Hall gets that submission at $9, he's going to be on the winning lineup. So I like Ryan Hall's submission ability and leg kicks here, but I think Ilya Topuria is most likely to get a finish here by stuffing the takedowns, tiring Ryan Hall out, and then putting him out on a punch. So I'm going to take Ilya Topuria here, but Ryan Hall is definitely a flyer for the FanDuel pricing. Next, we have a fight that should be close to, this one could be fight of the night. We got Nico Price at plus 134 versus Michel Pereira at minus 164. This is Michel Pereira is $19 to Nico Price is $14. And it's plus 130 to go the distance. So I think it will end in a finish as well. So Nico Price is a unique fighter with a lot of power. That's the type of guy he is. Closely contested matchup. I think this is very close. The price tags of FanDuel would indicate. And who will land the big shot is the big question here because they both will be throwing heavy bombs. In the last fight, Michel Pereira against Chaos Williams, you saw a boringer fight which you thought was going to be fight night, but I think they had so much respect for each other's power that they both didn't want to get hit with that shot, which is smart on their regard. But I think this one is one where they're going to be like, I have so much power that I'm going to try and take you out. That I don't think they're going to care in this one, and they're just going to let it bang. So this one is going to be one where the winner should be on the top lineup. I think they're going to throw a lot of significant strikes until one of them finally hits the mat. But Price has the better cardio. He's shown his cardio in the past, and he just doesn't give up. He's a tough guy. And I don't know how Pereira deals with adversity yet because he hasn't really faced too much adversity. And the one time he did, he lost. So I don't think that recently, but I think Nico Price should outlast him, and I think this fight is one where they're going to be banging up until the third round. I think a third round there's going to be a finish. So I'm going to say Nico Price with his better cardio ends up getting it at the cheaper price tag. So at $14, I like that. That's going to be one to help you get a lot of the higher price guys, and I like Nico Price to get the win here at the underdog over there. So that's my underdog pick. I like Nico Price. Next we have Carlos, the Natural Born Killer Condit at plus 152 versus Max Payne Griffin, minus 188. $21 to $10. Griffin was actually scheduled to fight not too long ago Dan Ige, who just got a main title fight, so that shows you the level Max Griffin is on. But Carlos Condit is a guy that just does not go away. Carlos Condit is usually way older than his opponents. Not in this one. Max Griffin is only 2 years younger than him. The Max Griffin, you think he's a young guy? He's not. But to go the distance is minus 172, so they believe it will. Max Griffin needs this win to go on a run at his age. This is like his time, so I think he's going to be doing a lot to try and get this win. Condit has a skill set to handle Griffin, though, so that's what scares me here. And this is another fight where it's $21 to $10 fighter. I'm not like on one of them as a toss-up. I don't want to spend over $20 with all these guys that are in the main event. But Condit, yeah, he has the skill set to handle Griffin. Condit should use his wrestling that he used in his last two fights to when he gets into adversity with the striking here with Max Griffin, because Max Griffin is an elite striker. And Griffin needs to make this a boxing match. So if Griffin can make this a boxing match, he should be able to win and eke out a decision. If the wrestling's involved, I think that Condit could take 2 rounds from him. And that's my pick right here. Condit has knees and the knees and elbows that when they get inside, he's going to be throwing different things. Max Griffin's more of just a puncher, where Condit's going to be throwing a variety of different things at Griffin that I don't know if he's seen too much of that. So I'm going to take Carlos Condit as the underdog here. I wouldn't hate you for taking Max Griffin, because Max Griffin does have the power to put him out or can beat him up for 2 or 3 rounds. But I think Condit's going to mix in the wrestling, mix in the clinching, and get a few takedowns to be able to eke out a decision and eke out 2 rounds here. So I'm going to take Carlos Condit at the $10 price tag, which should help you get some of these expensive guys that we're about to get into. Okay. We start off the main card with Sean O'Malley versus Chris Moutinho. This one is minus 950 for Sean O'Malley, and it's plus 590 for Chris Moutinho. $23 for Sean O'Malley and $8 for Chris Moutinho, and it's plus 330 to go the distance. They think it's going to end in a finish. I think it's going to end pretty damn quick. So I think if you're on Chris Moutinho, you're either Chris Moutinho's coach, or Chris Moutinho's mother, because Sean O'Malley, he does everything well that Chris Moutinho is going to throw at him. Chris has connections to Ultimate Fighter's Mitch Raposo. If you guys are watching The Ultimate Fighter right now, I highly recommend it. Volkanovski versus what am I blanking? Fuck. Ortega. Volkanovski versus Ortega. There have been some great fights on that so far. A lot of these guys, I can't wait to get into the UFC. But yeah, he knows Mitch Raposo, one of the guys in there, one of the top bantamweights. So he has connections to him. That's what I found with Chris Moutinho. And this is the thing with Sean O'Malley. He had a couple other fights where could have faced Ricky Simone, or he could have faced some of the guys, but those guys are big wrestlers, which Sean O'Malley would struggle with that. But the UFC sees a lot of dollar signs in Sean O'Malley. So I think they set this up as almost like, hey, Sean, here's this guy, go take him out, and then you'll get another fight. So that's what I see. Moutinho is well-rounded, but definitely a step behind Sean. He's going to be slower. Sean's going to see everything he has coming. And if Moutinho needs to land a lucky shot, which I think is going to be he'd be very lucky to get that. So Moutinho has kicks. He will need them. He'll need to keep kicking Sean, and hopefully he can hit that thing in his knee again. But like, that's the only way I could see Moutinho getting a shot here. I think Sean O'Malley is just going to piece him up, do a couple jabs, couple things, beat up his face, and then finally land a kill shot like he does in last couple fights. I think Sean O'Malley wins here, and I will have him on pretty much all my lineups if I was you guys. Yeah, I like Sean O'Malley here at $23. So if I'm paying up, he's the first person I'm putting in. Okay, we got Irene Aldana at minus 122 versus Yana Kunitskaya at plus 100. The last time we had a minus 122 versus plus 100, they were $15 and $15. But this one, $16 for Irene Aldana, $13 for Yana Kunitskaya. So I don't know why they changed that and made $3 difference. This is minus 320 to go the distance. So they think it will for sure. And Aldana had huge hype. They thought she was the next big thing. They thought she was going to be the first Mexican champion before Moreno just did it. Kunitskaya is very well-rounded, and she knows she has different ways to win. That's the type of fighter she is. She knows that if her striking isn't there, she'll wrestle. If her wrestling isn't there, she'll grapple. She knows she has different ways to eke out a win. And Aldana will just strike, but she's shown that she can get outstruck. So that's what I'm saying. If she's just going to strike with Kunitskaya and Kunitskaya is going to be mixing it up, I like Kunitskaya here. Kunitskaya will do a bit of everything. Aldana can stop takedowns, though. That's gonna help her in this to keep it standings. But she's shown she can be outstruck anyway. But this will very likely go to decision. Aldana has shown she's beatable. And I'm going to lean the underdog here. Yana Kunitskaya, she definitely has a nice training partner in her life partner in Thiago Santos. So Thiago Santos should be helping her out to figure out Irene Aldana. And I think Kunitskaya is going to be able to put up a couple takedowns, a little bit of significant strikes, and a win at only $13. Sign me up. So you're going to want the winner of this fight, or even if she loses, she should get a decent amount of points for a $13 fighter. Yeah, I'm going to take that. So I like Kunitskaya heavy here. I think she actually wins the fight. I think she's more well-rounded, and she's going to be able to outlast Irene Aldana. So 3 more fights to go. We got a nice heavyweight matchup here. Tai Tuivasa, Bam Bam, the owner of the Shoeivasa, the thing where they drink the beer out of the shoe. And then Greg, Prince of War Hardy. As a Giants fan, I didn't really like this guy because he was a defensive end for the Cowboys, and now he's making his UFC over here. Like, made it his way to the UFC. He was 7-0 coming into the UFC. Now he's 7-3. So that shows you how tough the UFC is to be able to come over and just try and fight in here. But Tai Tuivasa, $17 fighter to Greg Hardy's $12 fighter, minus 144 and a plus 118 on Greg Hardy's side. And this is plus 170 to go the distance. So I think they're going to end the finish, and these guys throw heavy hands. Hardy hits a wall in his fights, and his output falls off. That's what I've seen so far from him. He'll be throwing and looking very good, and then out of nowhere, it's not even a cardio thing, he'll just stop throwing that output. If he's throwing a bunch of output, he'll just stop, like just out of nowhere, and it's just, I don't get it in his fights. Tuivasa throws the calf kick well, which should help him in this fight. If he's able to beat up the calf of Greg Hardy, I don't know if he's ever been able to been through that before or knows how to get through that, so he shouldn't need to check these calf kicks. But Hardy needs to have made improvements in this fight, but I think he can because he's such a green fighter that they're probably coaching him up, saying like, oh, okay, this is what he's going to do. You need to know how to do this. You need to know how to do this, which he probably wasn't even thinking about. He probably thought you would just run in there, beat everyone up, throw heavy hands, and knock them out of there, which I think it will be a finish here for sure. But Tuivasa should be able to leg kick and have more volume. So Tuivasa is definitely the sharper side here. But at a $12 price tag, I think Greg Hardy can get that finish, maybe even in the first round because that's where he's more fresh. But if not, I think Tuivasa lands that overhand right that he throws so well and drops him. So my pick here is Tuivasa, but I wouldn't hate you on the flyer of Greg Hardy because I think there's a finish here somewhere. But I like Tuivasa to throw more volume and then land an overhand right that puts Greg Hardy down. So that's going to be my pick here. Okay. Here we go. The co-main event here. Very good one. I had a couple predictions for this about the fight and what I think is to come. As you guys have heard, so right here we'll go into these guys. Gilbert Burns, Dorinho at plus 140 to Stephen Thompson, minus 172. Wonder Boy. And Wonder Boy is $18 to Dorinho is $13. But I think Colby and Masvidal are about to fight. They're about to fight in November, October. The fight's about to be in. And I think that fight's going to happen in November. This fight's happening now, Thompson versus Burns. So I think whoever wins this Thompson versus Burns matchup fights Usman in December or January. So I think Thompson is going to be really gunning for that because he wants that title shot. He's been dying for that title shot. That's what he says he's going for right now. He just wants to go for the title. That's his main goal left in the UFC, to get that title. So I think Thompson, the favorite here, is going to be looking for that, and I think that happens. And winner of that Usman-Thompson fight fights the winner of that Colby-Masvidal fight. So yeah, that's what I think is next for the UFC, which I'm very excited for. But Gilbert Burns, expert grappler. Striking is getting better. But he's an expert grappler. Like, he is a jiu-jitsu mastermind, Gilbert Burns. That's why he made it so far to the top. And he hit Usman with a very tough shot that almost knocked out Usman. But Usman was able to get his bearings back and end up finishing Burns himself. But it was very close for Burns being the champion. But Thompson is an elite striker. The way he strikes, he gets so much distance. The kicks, he was a master kickboxer. He has his own kickboxing gym. Like Stephen Thompson, that's why they call him Wonder Boy. He's just incredible the way he kickboxes. But Burns will need a strike to get to the mat. He knows that. But I don't know if he can strike with Thompson. So, also, yeah, I forgot to go the distance, minus 118, minus 108. So it's toss up there. But if Burns is too confident, like, that's the thing. Burns gets way too confident in himself. Like, he gets confident in his striking, and he probably thinks he can strike with Thompson, which I don't think he can. But I think Thompson can clip him if he wants to try and strike with him. So he's going to need to mix in the wrestling and grappling. But it's hard to get Wonder Boy down. But definitely a grappler versus striker matchup here. Thompson, and then they say Thompson doesn't have that much power, but he dropped Luque. Like, we've seen that before. He's dropped Vincent Luque. So I think he could drop Gilbert Burns, who's shown he has a susceptible chin. But if it goes to the mat, Burns will submit him. So that's the thing where I think that Thompson needs to keep this off the mat. But I think we see Thompson clip Gilbert Burns and put him out of there. That's my prediction for the fight. I think Thompson gets that, and he gets the fight versus Usman. So he gets what he wants and fights Kamaru Usman. So I'm hoping that I'm correct here because I want to see that Thompson versus Usman fight. I think it'd be a great fight. But yeah, I think we see Thompson clip Burns here and get the win. So at $18 price tag, I like him. But if you're on the Gilbert Burns side, $13 is way too cheap for a co-main event guy that with this much this high of a skill set. Way too cheap. But I'm going to take Thompson's side here. I like Thompson here. I found enough cheap fighters already. Let's go with Thompson here to get the win by KO in the second or third round for me. And here we go. The big fight that everyone's talking about. Mcgregor versus Poirier 1. McGregor clips Poirier, puts him down, knocks him out. McGregor versus Poirier 2. Poirier clips McGregor, knocks him out. What's going to happen in the third one? I'm going to tell you exactly what I think. We got Dustin Poirier, the $20 fighter, at minus 120, to McGregor, the $19 fighter, at minus 102. I don't think I've ever seen McGregor as the cheaper fighter or the underdog in quite some time. So to go the distance is plus 330, as you guys can imagine. 5-round fight. These guys both clipped each other in the first round, the first fight. I don't think it's going 5. I think someone's getting finished here, and both these guys want to finish each other. Minus 480 to not go to decision. So yeah, but McGregor is not the same guy we saw in 2016 when he went on this crazy run. That is true. McGregor is definitely different. 6 years and almost $500 million, almost $1 billion. Almost $1 billion will change you. That will change a person. So McGregor is a different guy, but he has the kid now. He has the wife, so I think he's still into the fighting. I don't think he would be here if he wasn't, because he has way too much money. So this is where I'm going in with this fight. So let's get into what we see here. From the last fight, I went down and broke that fight down a little bit. I watched the fight, the last fight they had, the most recent one. I probably watched it like 9 or 10 times looking at it. And I like the way McGregor came out. I like the way he was hitting his shots there, but he was not checking any of those leg kicks. And that's what ended up getting him to be finished, where his leg went dead. Didn't know what to do, had to try and change stances, didn't know what he was doing with that, and got put down. So in this fight, I'm going to go with, I'm going to tell you who I'm going to go with, and then I'm going to tell you how I think this fight ends. I'm going to go with the notorious Conor McGregor. I think Conor McGregor comes back and wins this. I think Conor McGregor puts on a show, and he's going to get another big fight. But I think he takes out the #1 contender in the world in Dustin Poirier, who everyone is writing on to go fight Oliveira next. I don't think he's gonna after McGregor puts his lights out. And I'm going to tell you what happens. I think he wins in the first round, Conor McGregor, or the early second. And I'm going to tell you the exact punch of how he's going to do that. So, Masvidal and Poirier fight at the same gym. And I've noticed a lot of similarities in their game, where Poirier likes that check right hook. So he's a southpaw as well, where he goes check right hook like this, and tries to keep going in. That's what he does. So does Masvidal. Masvidal does that as well. Kamaru Usman noticed that in Masvidal, and when he threw the check right hook, he waited for that check right hook and came in and threw the straight right. Put Masvidal down, and that was the infamous knockout on Jorge Masvidal from Kamaru Usman. They were both righties. These guys are both lefties. Now we got this in the southpaw stance where McGregor's going to be over there waiting for that check right hook. I think the exact same knockout happens with Conor McGregor. I think he's able to time that check right hook and get a straight left right across Poirier's chin. And I think he puts him down. I think he puts him down, gets a couple extra shots that were super necessary, as they like to say. And I think he puts Poirier down and wins the trilogy. And Conor McGregor goes, "You must have forgot. I'm back, baby." So, I'm very excited for this fight. If you like the Poirier side, I see where you're coming from. I see where the power, the #1 contender. But I think McGregor's been he's been in the gym. He flew everyone out. He's in California, got his whole new gym there. A bunch of training partners that he flew out for the weekend. He got enough money to pay them everything they want. And it seems like he's been training very, very hard, even with his billions of dollars. So I think Conor McGregor doesn't want to lose this, and he's come back stronger against people when he's come back after a loss, like with the Nate Diaz fight, came back and beat him up. So I think McGregor can time that check right hook just like Usman, same finish, put him down. So give me McGregor by knockout, and I'm a psychopath, so I'll probably, if I make lineups, 100% McGregor. I just think that's what's gonna happen. So thank you guys for watching. I'm going to do another little short breakdown of who my picks are on TikTok as well. I do my TikTok top picks on there, as you can probably tell from the video who they're going to be. But I do my TikTok top picks. So to follow there at Takedown DFS. Follow on Instagram at Takedown DFS and on Twitter at TDown DFS. But thank you guys. Like, subscribe, comment who you guys think is going to win, who you like in the main event, how you think it's going to finish. But thank you guys, and let's take down.